Welcome to the first ever episode of my Ultramarathon journey. For those of you that don't know, I am Lucas Cullen and I'm the founder and creator of a mental health platform and podcast called Struggle Creates Strength. And my goal and my journey that I've embarked on is raising $50,000 for the Canadian Mental Health Association and Kids Help Phone while running and training for an ultramarathon. That was my goal, and I obviously set an ambitious goal, and it's because I truly want to help people and give people the opportunity to seek the same help that I was given. Now, when I started this ultramarathon journey, I knew that I wanted to be different, I knew that I wanted to change things up, and I knew that I wanted to meet a tremendous amount of people. So what did I do? I decided that I wanted to go around to different places, meet different people from different places, and train in all of these places. And the first stop was Revelstoke. When we got to Revelstoke, or when we decided to go to Revelstoke, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty exciting experience, a pretty exciting journey, because I knew that it was the first step in making all of this happen, making this journey become possible, making it so that I could present it to the world with raising $50,000. There's a few main reasons on why I wanted to go to Revelstoke, and one was obviously to run up the Revelstoke Mountain Resort, but another one was to also meet a whole new crowd of people and spread some advocacy in a totally different place. My goal with Struggle Creates Strength is to reach as many people as possible, and I know that in order to do that, I need to experience new places and meet new people. That's the only way it can really happen right now. Obviously, with the podcast and with the platform, it reaches a tremendous amount of people already, but I wanted to be out on the field and meeting new people in their everyday life and in their environment and in their community, and that's what going to Revelstoke was really all about. When we finally arrived in Revelstoke on Friday night, I wanted to work out. So we headed to the gym and we got in a quick workout, which then led to a longer workout than I was expecting. But this was just a cool testament, and I was actually really excited to show you this side of myself, because when we're in there and when we're in the gym, and I'm sure you'll see this clip of me running on the treadmill, this was like 10:30 at night. And I was not expecting to run that day because I knew that I had the lengthy run the next day. But it was just one of those things that took over, and it was one of those moments where I was able to dig deep within myself and ultimately just take myself to a totally different spot than comfort. And I was able to push myself and run at a certain elevation gain and just constantly push and push and push. And in the video, I kept repeating solitude and gratitude. And the reason why I was especially saying gratitude is because I always try to remember in my life how grateful I am for the things that I have. And being in Revelstoke, being in that very moment, although I was experiencing some form of mental health struggles at that point, I was also reminding myself about how grateful I was to be in that moment and to have legs that worked like they do and to be pushing myself like that. And it was a very, very cool experience. Saturday was a whole new day with exciting adventures to come. And the first one that I added to the list, sporadically again, was the farmer's market. My reason for that was because I wanted to throw ourselves into a state where there was a lot of people and a lot of different connections that could potentially be made. And in fact, I made one. And if you've followed the podcast, you follow the episodes, you know that I met Mary Summers. And I was fortunate enough to go film a podcast with Mary at her home in Grinrod, and she was amazing, don't get me wrong. And if you've seen that episode, listen to that episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But meeting Mary was just such a testament to how easy it is to go out and meet people with amazing stories. And all I did was approach her and ask her about her business, and we got into talking, and we ended up lining up a podcast, which again was amazing. Meeting Mary was such a testament as to how we can throw ourselves into any form of setting and meet new people and honestly have our lives changed forever. When I met Mary, I didn't know how she was going to impact my life. I didn't know what she was going to say that would impact my life, but she did. She changed my life immediately, and in our podcast, she continued to do that. And it's just, again, it's such a testament that you truly can go anywhere and have your life changed for the rest of your life. So after we were all done with the farmer's market, we decided to obviously go to Revelstoke Mountain Resort because I wanted to test myself and go up the mountain. And the main reason why I decided to go up that mountain and why I wanted to push myself to go up that mountain was because a couple of years back, I was there and I saw somebody else do it. And I remember talking to myself and remembering how crazy that person was and how I almost deemed them as psychotic. And I loved it. I thought it was so crazy and I thought they were superhuman, and to put myself on that same level and to throw myself into that same situation was almost humbling, and it was a very, in a sense, euphoric feeling where I knew that I was doing something bigger and better than myself, and I put myself in that situation, which was very, very fun until it started. When I started the run, it was not the most fun, and I realized that it was not going to be fun until it ended, because going up the elevation, which was about 900 meters of elevation in just 4 kilometers or just shy of 4 kilometers, was hell. My legs felt awful. Everything sucked. It was super hot out. It was in the middle of the day. Felt dehydrated. Obviously wasn't running off enough food. But again, it was that moment, and it is moments like those that allow us to see what we're truly capable of. Because at the very start of that run and for the first 20 minutes or so of it, I felt awful. But I just kept persevering and I kept pushing myself through it, and I kept making sure that I would go one step further and making sure that I would never ever turn back, and knowing in my mind and in the back of my mind that I would finish this run. And I did. It was, like I said, it was awful, but after I pushed past that one point of pain, of torture, and honestly of lack of mindset, I started to gain momentum. I started to feel better. I started to realize what I truly was capable of. I started to remember why I was there in the first place. And obviously when I reached the top, it was, again, a state of euphoria. And I'm gonna use the state of euphoria all the time, because when you're running, there's nothing like it. When you can overcome battles in your life, and especially mental health struggles in your life while you run, that's a state of euphoria. As I was running and as it was becoming hard, but also as I was acknowledging how amazing these views were and how cool the terrain was, all I kept thinking about was how these ultramarathon runners and trail runners would always say that there's nothing like trail running. There's nothing like being in the mountains. There's nothing like pushing yourself in those mountains. And when I looked behind me and I saw the view and I realized where I was at the bottom and where I was going at the top, I, again, just couldn't help but feel proud and couldn't help but feel grateful to be in that moment and to know that I created that moment. It's very special when you can do that for yourself. Sunday's plan was an exciting one because our goal was to go out and meet as many people as possible and talk to as many people as possible. As we were going from store to store and meeting different people throughout the city of Revelstoke, we stumbled across a bar. And at this bar, there was the Italy and England game going on. And I think this definitely sparked a bit of joy in our life, but also in a lot of other people's lives. And honestly, all I have to say is it was kind of an experience of law of attraction. And by that, I mean, what it was so many English people in this bar going nuts over the game and going crazy. And all they were doing was drawing people in through their joy and through their happiness. And ultimately what that really did was create happiness within other people's lives, and it created a form of community. And in that moment, all I kept thinking about was how Struggle Creates Strength is doing that exact same thing. How this run may do that exact same thing. All we're doing is attracting like-minded people or people who want to be around us when we do certain things like this ultramarathon, or like sharing our story, like sharing our mental health struggles. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what's most important, is that we never stop talking, we never stop being who we truly are and being our transparent selves. But we also just have to acknowledge the power that we truly have to attract others and to help others. And I hope that you can help me throughout the rest of this ultramarathon journey. And I hope you enjoyed our travels to Revelstoke, British Columbia. I hope you continue to come along with me on the rest of my ultramarathon journey and help me raise this $50,000 for 50 kilometers. Thank you so much for watching another video, and just remember, everyone has a story.